I say I'm shooting shots straight to the point just like the podcast. Other teams, they run into my shooters cause we got that. I killed the game and left the court with no condolence. I'm still gonna shoot my shot no matter how big the moment is. She ain't like when Bess get on that phone. Yeah. You watch it from the TVs in your homes. Yeah. They finna like and sub and leave a comment down below. Yeah.
I'm offering you an olive branch, okay? Because your team is eliminated from playoff contention, I will allow you to pick a new team in the AFC to go to the Super Bowl. Rell, I'm gonna do you a favor in a second, so don't shake your head. I'm gonna do you a favor in a second. Jerrick, what you got?
Um, I'm a. I think like last episode we talked about it, and we said who's the scariest team in the AFC, and I think that the Broncos, especially having home field advantage, I think the Broncos are gonna go all the way. They have a great defense, top 3 defense in the league, and then Bo Nix is playing really good football. He proved that on Sunday, taking down the Packers, a pretty good Packers team. He proved that he can go toe to toe with another good quarterback, and he proved that against a good team, a good defense, he can hold his own and win the football game, especially at home, which they will have in the playoffs. So I have the Broncos going to the Super Bowl now.
Okay, so like I said, I offered the olive branch. Jerrick is still wrong. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah,
Jerrick is still
100%.
wrong. Like in the documents for the Straight to the Point podcast history, this year Jerrick's team was eliminated from playoff contention with 3 weeks left in the season. Right, we're not going to forget about that, but I will give him an olive branch to pick another team because I'm just fair. All right, but now let's talk about your Chiefs, Jerrick. Chiefs down. What's your reaction to the way this season unfolded?
It was just we should have seen this coming, and I think that we gave the Chiefs and Mahomes too much grace over the course of the season. Like they didn't look like the normal Chiefs for the majority of the season, and we kept saying, "Oh, but they can turn it around, but they can turn it around, but they can turn it around." But we've never seen them play this bad and then actually turn it around. Even last year when they were winning close games, they still looked like a pretty good football team. Their defense was still holding teams to low numbers, which is why we were like, if as long as their defense is playing good, we know Mahomes and the offense will come through. And best believe in the playoffs, Mahomes and the offense came through and they made it to the Super Bowl. But this year, the defense was struggling. That was the difference between this year and last year. The defense was struggling. So there was games where Mahomes was balling, but as we know with Joe Burrow, with Josh Allen sometimes, with Lamar Jackson sometimes, whenever you have a really good offense, but your defense is suspect, sometimes it doesn't matter what your quarterback does. Because your quarterback can go out there and throw 3 touchdowns like we saw him do against the Cowboys and still lose. And then there was times where the offense was not playing too good. So it was just a combination of everybody not really looking good this year. Mahomes didn't have his best season. He played pretty good, but he still didn't have his best season. This is a year where we saw Andy Reid have some questionable calls down the stretch. So it was just a bad year for the Chiefs. I mean, we can't expect every year to be perfect. We can't expect every year to be good. We would think that they would have made it to the playoffs, but they didn't, and that's okay. If we looked at it, when's the last time that the Chiefs have had a full offseason? They haven't. I listened a couple weeks ago. Somebody said that we need to hope that the Chiefs do get in the playoffs because the Chiefs have never had a complete offseason, and in their span of their dynasty, they've played a full regular season amount of playoff games. They played a full regular season amount of postseason football games. That means every single year they're playing until February. Every single year. So now they get a chance to really sit down, look at the drawing board, go back to the drawing boards. They get to get healthy. We know Mahomes is hurt, ACL injury, but I feel like he can be back for week 1 next year. ACL injury, typically around 9 months in that range. So he can potentially only miss a couple weeks, but he should be able to be back for week 1. They say he's already starting his rehab right now. So I think that the Chiefs, they're going to go into offseason, they're going to take the offseason. They're going to fill in their gaps, fill in their holes. Andy Reid, Spagnuolo, they're going to get together and they're going to figure out what the problem was this year, and they're going to get it right for next year. And then when have we ever seen the Chiefs in the Mahomes era have a top 15 draft pick? We've never.
Never.
They always draft good. They always find a way to make those late first-round picks matter. They just drafted their right or left tackle, Josh Simmons, this year. He was just a rookie. We have to give him time to develop and grow and to really get acclimated to the league. And we've always seen them turn late first-round picks into gold mines. Xavier Worthy, he's not, a top threat, but he works in that offense. He works in that system, a speedy gadget player. So now they're going to get a top 15 draft pick. They can go O-line if they want to protect Mahomes again, or they can go with a defensive player to really help Chris Jones out, to help George Kalafis out. There's a lot of good defensive players in this upcoming draft. So I think that, I mean, of course, for this season, we're going to look at it, we're going to say, oh, they failed. But best believe after this offseason, next year, Mahomes come back healthy, being Mahomes, they will be right back where they were this. They will be, I'm not going to say where they were this year. They will be where they were in the past. They will be in the playoffs again. So it's just a little blemish on this year, but they will be back.
Rell, what you thinking? What you thinking?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tough season for the Chiefs. I think a tough season for all of us, just because none of us seen the Chiefs being this bad. But I've been seeing week in and week out, little things go right for the little things go wrong for the Chiefs, and over the past 7 years, we never seen things go wrong for the Chiefs. Whenever we're watching the Chiefs play football, we're always constantly saying, "Hey, how did that happen? Like, oh my, the Chiefs, the refs always cheating for the Chiefs. The refs always doing this for the Chiefs. Oh my gosh, no way that happened for the Chiefs. It's always something going right for the Chiefs. This season, it was always something wrong for the Chiefs. And I
Yeah.
think week in and week out, we kept on getting delusional, thinking we're gonna see the old Patrick Mahomes, thinking we're gonna see the old Chiefs. And truth be told, the Chiefs just wasn't the Chiefs all season. I think they battled injuries all year, and usually they're a pretty healthy team. They were dealing with the out Rasheed Rice, in and out the lineup. The linemen were missing. Or you got to think they were missing Rasheed for the first 6-7 games.
Yeah.
So a lot of the chemistry just wasn't there from the start. And I just think we're in the most competitive AFC and NFC we've ever seen in our lives. Like this Chiefs team, they didn't lose anybody. They have the same exact team. We're just in the more competitive divisions in our whole entire life that we ever seen. We never seen teams make the playoffs with 6 losses. We just never seen it. And I think we'll finally see it this year. But it's just really shocking, to be honest with you. But like Jerrick just said, I think this puts the Chiefs at an advantage for next year. We've never seen the Chiefs pick this high before. We're going to see Patrick Mahomes full off season. The sky's the limit for the Chiefs. So I think they'll be right back in the Super Bowl next year.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, I think that people think that the Chiefs are done, they're cooked, right? They're not. As long as they have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, which they will have moving forward, then they'll be just fine. I do think that we have to pay attention to the fact that in years past, like Rell said, those games where they won by the last second field goal, or they blocked the field goal, or there was a last second interception, whatever, it was winning those games, right? And this year, in one possession games, it was 1-7 one possession games. That's not normal, right? Normally the Chiefs will win those games, right? Like I brought up last week. Logan said you got to beat the Chiefs. They're not going to lose these games. They're not going to beat themselves, right? But this year we saw it a lot where the Chiefs did lose themselves. We saw Patrick Mahomes throw a 99-yard pick six to the Jacksonville Jaguars, lost that game by a possession, right? We saw in the Dallas Cowboys game, how the defense kind of folded, right, and let Dak Prescott cook, right? We seen this year where mistakes led to them losing these games. Mahomes didn't play good in that first Denver game, right? So things that we normally don't see, we saw this year with the Chiefs, and that is why they're in the position that they're in. Now, Mahomes should come back from the torn ACL with no problem. We've seen people do it before, and being a quarterback and all, you want your mobility, but this is the one position you can play where you can have a torn ACL and still be okay, I think, right? Because yes, quarterbacks need to move. Quarterbacks want to move, but we've also seen stationary quarterbacks eat in this league. Tom Brady was not a mobile quarterback, right? And look how good he was. Peyton Manning was not a mobile quarterback. Look how good he was. So if this injury does limit his mobility to a certain extent, I think he'll still be great because it's still Mahomes. All right. But yeah, Jared, it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate what happened to you. I apologize.
It's cool. Don't worry about it. It's cool. Somebody's team is next, but it's okay.
He said
It's
somebody
okay.
next.
Somebody's team is next, but it's okay.
Somebody
It's
is
cool.
next. All right.
Somebody gonna be joining me on the couch.
But
It's cool.
before we get into that, though, let's talk about another team that's going through it right now with the Cincinnati Bengals. All right, Burrow sorrow. Joe Burrow made some crazy, and if you remember, I made last week I picked the Bengals to beat the Ravens. Right, this was before I seen Joe Burrow make these comments. You can ask Jerry. I went to Jerry and said, "Okay, I'm a little nervous about this game now after what Joe Burrow said." Right. So Joe Burrow's comments last week going into the Ravens game was, if I want to keep doing this, as in play football, I have to have fun doing it. I have been through a lot. If it's not fun, what am I doing it for? This sounds very Andrew Luckish, right? This don't sound good for the Cincinnati Bengals. Then he goes into that game, plays the worst game that I've seen Joe Burrow play in a long time. And then, of course, at the end of the game, said my comments had nothing to do with Cincinnati. My comments had everything to do with me and my mindset in football. All right. So with Joe Burrow making these comments with Cincinnati, where their organization is, Rell, just tell me what you think about the drama in Cincinnati.
Yeah, we can all feel it. It's a lot of tension going on in Cincinnati right now. The locker room isn't happy. The players aren't happy, and we were just all really, really shocked to hear this from Joe Burrow because we all think that he loves football. We all know that he plays football at a very high level. And before this, we just saw the Bengals. The Bengals were 2-0 before Joe Burrow got hurt. Whenever he came back in the lineup, they were 3-1. They almost won the fourth game against the Bills. So for Joe Burrow to say this, it was just really, really surprising because Joe Burrow, you're a leader in that locker room. If you say something negative like that, it's gonna just have a domino effect to all 53 guys in the locker room. So, oh man, that just really, really hurt me. That really hurt Joe Burrow, especially because we were just hyping you up the past 2 weeks. Like Joe Burrow, you're him. Joe Burrow, you're a top quarterback in this league when healthy. And oh man, it just really, really hurts when the best players on teams make comments like this. But like when things aren't going the best, and your leaders make comments like this, it really hurts the team because you're supposed to be sticking up for us and saying, "Hey, the season's almost over. We deal with injuries." But oh man, that really hurt. That really, really hurt. And I'm the type of person, Jerrick and Jalen know. I'll be the first to say, "Hey, the Bengals will be good this year. They got Joe Burrow. They made it to the Super Bowl already." I just can't say that anymore. The leader in the locker room just messed up the whole team chemistry. And you saying that before the game, Joe Burrow, is the reason why y'all went out and played like that.
Yeah, facts.
Joe Burrow had the team chemistry up. He had the offense playing good. The defense was playing good for the first time since 2021. It's for the first time. And you just go out and make comments like that. I promise you the Bengals are going to get absolutely murdered next week. I promise you. I promise you.
Jerrick, how you feeling?
It was very shocking because we didn't think that Joe Burrow was this type of person, but we have to admit, like, losing takes a toll on yourself. But not only losing, going through what he's gone through, the amount of injuries and the amount of like everything that he's gone through since he's been on the Bengals, it takes a toll on you. It really does, physically and mentally. I can't keep coming to work every day knowing that I have an O-line that lets me get hit all day, knowing that I have a defense that lets up 1,000,000 points from other teams. It's hard to come in there every day with a positive mindset. Now, I don't think that's something that he should have said out in the public. That is something that you keep to yourself. That's something that you don't just throw, like, he can say it was about him personally and it wasn't about Cincinnati, but you kind of just threw your organization under the bus. Yeah. We all know why you feel this way. We all know why you feel it. This isn't a Nikola Jokic situation where Nikola Jokic just makes it seem like he doesn't care about basketball. He's just out here doing it just because he's good at it. No, this is a situation where we've seen a guy who loves football. He's passionate about football since his LSU days. Now come out and say, hey, I have to be having fun to continue to play. Like you said, this is very Andrew Luckish. It makes it seem like if they don't make changes or if he doesn't get out of Cincinnati, it's looking like he might like call it quits early. But like I said, I understand where he's coming from. I understand why he feels this way. But like we said, you can't, as the leader, like Burrow says, the leader of the locker room, as the team captain, you can't come out and say these things. You just can't. No matter how much losing and injuries has taken a toll on you, you just can't come out and say words like that. That's inexcusable. And like Burrow said, it directly affected the way not only you played, but the way that your team played on Sunday. So that's just bad.
So, and I'm glad y'all said that because a part of me was thinking that, okay, if he does come out and say this, the Bengals, either one or two gonna happen. Either they gonna get blown out or they gonna come out and play hard because of the comments that they QB made. But they did the complete opposite of that. They played terrible. He was getting pressured the whole entire game. Like they really did not play well. And like y'all said, with you being the leader of the team, kind of setting that tone throughout the week. And now the conversation is about how does Joe Burrow feel versus the Ravens, right? Now look at where you are as a team. But I think it's one simple answer to all of this. And I don't know if y'all want to agree. I don't know if y'all want to disagree. Y'all did a great job talking about Joe Burrow, but I want to talk about how to kind of fix the situation. It's to trade Joe Burrow. a couple weeks ago, we had a playful conversation about should the Bengals trade Joe Burrow or not, right? It was a little playful conversation. Now it's serious. This is a serious conversation. Since 2021, right, when they went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Rams, they have gone downhill ever since and gotten worse and worse and worse every single year. Now, you can say that Joe Burrow's injuries have a lot to do with that, but I look at the way this team has been ran, this team has been managed, and I think they have been going in the wrong direction since then. Because they went to the Super Bowl in 2021, lost in the conference championship in 2022. After that, they went 9-8, 9-8, and now they're 4-10. All right, so it's been going downhill. And if you're Joe Burrow, right, those comments, he wouldn't have made those comments if his team was in the playoff race, if his team was winning games, right? He made those comments because, for one, he's right. He's going through a lot. He's been dealing with injuries, right? For two, his team sucks around him. Like, it's not the offense, it's the defense for sure. And one consistent problem that we've talked about since day one with Joe Burrow is his offensive line. The Bengals have refused to fix the offensive line. They tried. They tried to get players to come in and help the offensive line out, but it hasn't been the case. Joe Burrow's one of the most hit quarterbacks since 2021, right? So to me, nothing is going in the right direction. So if I'm the Bengals, I'm looking at it like this. What can I get for Joe? Me and Jerrick had a conversation. Rell, what you think about this? If I called Minnesota and said, hey, give me JJ and 3 first-round picks, I'll give you Joe Burrow. What do you think about that? If you was a Minnesota GM, what would you say to that?
To be honest, I honestly love it for both sides. Minnesota gets a superstar QB that they haven't had in a long time. The best quarterback they've had in a while is Kirk Cousins, and he's played great football for them. So the Vikings, Kevin O'Connell, he showed all he needs is a solid QB. Both sides, it works. Joe Burrow comes into Minnesota. He has Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson to throw to. Perfect combo. Going back to the other side, Cincinnati, they have a young QB to build with, and they have no O-line. All they have is T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. That's all they have to build towards. I'm guaranteeing Trey Hendrickson is out of there. They're playing with his money. He wanted a contract this year. They gave him a 1-year deal. He's out of there. He's looking for new things this free agency. This is a perfect trade for the Bengals. They won't be getting any better from this trade. And like Jay Bess just said, they've tried to fix the O-line. They brought in Orlando Brown. They brought in Marvin Mims, a first-round pick, and he's still getting hit. He's still getting killed. With comments made like this, yeah, I think it's time to trade Joe Burrow, 100%. It's time to at least start having conversations about Burrow because, like you just said, 2021 Super Bowl, 2022 Conference Championship. After that, it should be playoffs, and that's it. You go 9-8, 9-8, 4-7. I think it's time to start. It's time to start packing up and seeing what you could get for these guys because Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase, they won't be enough. We've seen it year in and year out. They won't be enough. The last time y'all went to the Super Bowl, y'all had a really good defense, y'all had a really good O-line, and y'all had Joe Mixon. So y'all were able to run the ball. Y'all don't have that anymore. Y'all re-signed Joe Burrow. That messed up a lot of money. Y'all re-signed T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. That messed up a lot of money. And you got to think, Jay Bess, you go back to 2021, they had all these guys on rookie contracts. So they were able to build other pieces, build a defense, build an O-line. They won't be able to do that anymore until they release Joe Burrow. So, yes, I think Straight to the Point podcast did the amazing thing. They did the right thing. We're thinking out the box. The Bengals, they're going down. It's time to trade Joe Burrow. It's time to trade Joe Burrow. I love that question, Jay Bess. It's definitely time to trade Joe Burrow.
Facts. And I feel like when you do that, I feel like Jamar Chase is not going to want to stick around. That's just my personal feeling. I feel like Jamar Chase is going to want out too. And if he does want out, then, hey, somebody give me 2 first-round picks. At least a first-round pick and a second-round pick. You can have Jamar, right? I'll be working with 3 picks from Minnesota, 1 pick from wherever Jamar goes, a first-round pick, and then I have my first-round picks, right? So I'll have at least 5 first-round picks in the next draft, right? And that can start your rebuild. Plus, you would get J.J. McCarthy in that Minnesota trade. Because like I said, I think Jamar is the kind of guy that Joe leads. I think he's going to want out as well. But it works for both sides because, like you said, you get a young QB in J.J. McCarthy, who I think is showing progress over the past couple weeks. He's getting better a little bit. And then you'll have a lot of picks to build around him. And then on the flip side, Joe Burrow going to play with Justin Jefferson in Minnesota, right? He should be happy because that's your former college teammate. And then getting rid of Jamar Chase will bring in another first-round pick. You can build with that. But I think that you have to, as an organization, we have to realize, am I further from a Super Bowl or am I closer to a Super Bowl? I think they're further from a Super Bowl than they are closer. So they got to start making moves that show that you are trying to rebuild. But this organization from top to bottom has been just bad. Like whether it's drafting players, I saw Nick Wright said, it's funny, he said the same week your quarterback talks about how he's not happy, right? And basically throws the organization under the bus, like Jerry said, is the same week. And this is off topic, but just hear me out. In that Ravens game, the the organization forgot to shovel the snow off the seats. So the fans had to come and get, so like that has nothing to do with football, but it just shows you the organization, how it's ran, right? It kind of points towards that. Like it's just bad. So to me, bro, blow it up, start fresh, because you're further from the Super Bowl than you are.
Yo, they feeling like in 7, leave a comment down below, yo.